Hey team, so today I want to talk about 3 things I would do right now to get a high ticket client in the next week. Because, we've all gone through rough patches in business where fear, anxiety, self-doubt starts to creep in, especially when we've had a dry month or two. And it often really comes down to sticking to the fundamentals. Right? Because all of those limiting beliefs and patterns that arise are cyclical in business, but the patterns that arise are emotional, and we have to learn to deal with them the best way we can. So, aside from the mindset piece where you could sit with that fear and understand what it is we're truly fearing, there is a logical step. But when it does come to the fear, the anxiety, and the self-doubt, one thing that I always ask myself is, how does it feel? And instead of pushing it away and numbing it, I sit with it and allow my brain, my emotions, my body to actually feel what it's like. And I do that by sort of asking myself, and then what? I've had a dry month, and then what? I might have to dip into my savings, and then what? And then by going into that, I actually bring to surface the true feelings. But today isn't a mindset piece. Today is us talking about the logical steps that we can do if we wanted to sign a high ticket client in the next week. So this video assumes that you have an offer. It's previously converted, we know our target audience, and if you don't, you can click visit my website at the top of this post. I'll also leave a link here or in the description, and you can get a free walkthrough on a Google Doc offer that I've made. In fact, I'll just put it in here as well so you can have it. It's swipemymojo.com. So that gives you sort of a breakdown of a Google Doc offer with a clear promise, a plan, and a price. So number one, what I would do is message 5 to 7 people daily. Having that conversation is what's going to instigate momentum, right? And momentum puts you in motion, and motion is energy. Now, I would start with picking the platform that I'm most active on. In my case, it's LinkedIn. And see who's engaged with my post. Either way, I'm looking for the highest intent first. Who's commented, then who's liked the post. And once we've exhausted that, we move into our existing followers on the list. Then we can use like the search bar or sales navigator or whatever it is to expand further. But I want to go as closely as possible and actually undergo a process of segmentation first to find my tribe, right? And I don't like using, scripts, but I prefer to have frameworks because scripts sound robotic. And I would say that you spend more time identifying who to message versus the volume of messages sent, because the keyword here we're looking for is intent. So, for example, let's say I'm a marketing consultant and I'm looking, in this case, for the who as a marketing consultant who's focused on content and content strategy, maybe content creation. I could be a ghostwriter, whatever it may be. I'm, in this case, looking for a founder, an entrepreneur, somebody who doesn't enjoy the writing as much or is just starting to understand organic reach, and I'm trying to sort of have a conversation with them to close them. So I found Alex and I say, I wrote up a 7-day content plan for you and gave you 2 templates that have driven myself and clients inbound leads. Would you be willing to give that a try? If yes, either send them a Loom video demonstration of the goods you prepared or invite them to have a short call. At this point, you want to test how they respond, and objections will come, but we keep going. Remember, we're only looking for one yes. Now, just to show you some context, like what I would do for that 7-day content plan plus the 2 posts is, for example, I would say, who am I to the client? Let's say they're a solopreneur. What is that key skill they do? Maybe they have offers, and then what's the service? They're a coach or a consultant or whatever it is they may be. And we sort of describe what that pillar is. Now that shows you've put in the work. My content plan, what I would do is sort of say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do all of this stuff. And then here are examples and explain what each of them does. Like this is a teach post where I teach you something. This is a show post where you break down what you're doing behind the scenes, like a unique mechanism. This is an invite. So I've got a client testimonial with an invitation, and then I sort of describe that. Now, I would take this to town personally, because this is what I have done in the past, and say, here's how I drive people to my offers. So are you struggling with problem? I'm opening up 4 spots, blah, 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 DM me, etc. Now, as for the 2 inbound lead generating posts, what I would do to save time, for example, is say, here's one of mine. And then I've prepared this for you, Mr. Client. I don't know who your clients are, but this is a bottom funnel sort of conversion based post. And then you've got to fill in the gaps here. You can look here. And then if you're a CEO like this person who wants positive outcome, DM me and then give them tips. Now, this is what I would do. There's no right or wrong, but it actually shows here the demonstration, right? So they're thinking this person's giving me value. Now, when you demonstrate, they either ask how you can work together in closer proximity, or you can ask them at the end after you've given them lifetime access to your structure. Now, again, what I've shown is my way of doing it. There's other people that go completely cold outbound, that go on sales calls, that do whatever it is. It's just this has worked for me. And then what you can do in that case is sort of plug in your text based sales letter, or ask them in the Loom video, however you choose to prepare it. Then number 2, I would have a conversion-based content strategy. I know growth is cool, but we're looking to sign a client at this specific point. So I would have my 4 core pieces of content. Number 1, a client result, like the template I showed you here. This is a client result of mine from a year ago with a screenshot and all of that. With breakdowns. Now in those breakdowns, what I would focus on is showing the what, but not the how. So I helped John go from X to Y, and we installed this thing. This is what happened. Think of it like a conversation on the phone with someone where you're just describing the insight of an event. Then I would do the same thing for post number 2 as a personal result and break down the steps. Like, here's how I implemented the proximity offer for myself and signed XYZ client. Then we've got a 3rd post, which is your model, and show your unique mechanism that gets clients there. So for me, it's like the modern maker model. I would break it down in steps because this gives someone a window of time into your world and shows them how you think. Now, these are very logical. What we want to do is have a 4th post that tells your story from X to Y. This one sort of builds trust. So in my world, I could have, either gone the hero's journey story or gone into a micro, smaller story about something that happened a week ago, a month ago, or whatever. But this one is what's going to get people to buy into you before buying into what you do. And at the end of the post, you can either mention you have 1 spot available or say something like, whenever you're ready, my work is for you. I primarily focus my line of work on LinkedIn, built an audience of 44,000 people. It's been a lot of fun. But what I found is, in the past, when I would just say DM me and let's chat, it worked. Nowadays, it doesn't work as well as it used to. So we can test it, because if the post is written well, it works. But remember, who you engage with is really important. And anybody who engages but doesn't DM, you can then open up a conversation from step 1 and go through everything we've described here again. So in that case, that would work. Remember, so we're looking for that one person. Therefore, there is true scarcity in this post, right? Like, I'm not looking for 78 people. I'm not open all the time. We can be really transparent and say I'm looking for one person for this month of November in this case, and be open about that. This spot will close on this day or when the spot is filled. If you want help with this, I've got 11 of these templates in my LinkedIn featured section. So if you look me up as Jacob Peggs on LinkedIn, you can sort of scroll down here and I've got these 9 money printing templates you can swipe. And that would help you if you need help on those actual conversion posts. Now, number 3. Ask clients who else they know. Don't neglect existing clients, because a happy client will always refer. So you can ask, who else do you know that might benefit from my service? Don't ask, do you know anyone? Because that gets you a yes or a no. Asking who makes them use their brain, right? So they would look into their network. This step can also apply to your existing followers or people who engaged with your content. So you can go back to people who've liked the post. If they're not buying from you, you can be honest and say, I'm looking to fill this spot. Would you know anyone? Or who do you know? Because at the core of this, simple scales, complex fails. And remember, we're here to plant seeds and flowers will blossom. When you need to get shit done, fundamentals are your best friend. All the rest can wait. So in summary, we would say, who do we know? Why do they want this? And why do they want this right now? Hopefully this helps and you can get yourself some wins. I've also sort of put in this post in writing. If you want to see it, it's on my LinkedIn from the other day that sort of breaks down this video, and you can go through all of the steps above. But hopefully this was useful and we can get some clients in the bag. Power to you, friends.